First quarter estimated tax payments are due April 15th, right along with 2024 individual tax returns also due the same date. So that can be a hard payment to make, especially if you already owe from the prior year. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about how important it really is to make your estimated tax payments. I mean, nobody likes to send their money to the government. I know that. And I know some people do prefer to wait until the end of the year and pay it all at once. But not only are you penalized by that, by the IRS for doing that, I just think it gives you an unrealistic view of your business and how it's doing. And I just kind of wanted to talk for a second about my own business and my own personal experience as I am getting ready to make my first quarter estimated tax payment, which is always my biggest payment of the year because I earn most of my money in the first quarter of the year during tax season. So if I were to, let's say I just didn't know or was choosing not to pay in quarterly estimated tax payments and was just looking at my financial statements right now, things look really good, right? Like I could remodel my kitchen. I've really been wanting to remodel my kitchen. I need to at least probably have $50,000 to $75,000 set aside to do that. And in looking at my bank account right now, after having 3 really busy months of preparing tax returns, I do have that much money in my bank account. However, once I make my first quarter estimated tax payments, I have about half as much as it's in there. Yeah. It's very depressing, but it is what it is. Now, another alternative that I could have is to split up those payments evenly throughout the year. So I could potentially pay less now, but then I'm looking at paying large payments in June, September, and January when I don't have as much income coming in. So that's going to reduce my cash flow greatly. I'm not going to have money to pull out of the business and pay myself. So I feel like in order to really have a good view on your business situation and how much you are actually earning, it's best to pay those quarterly estimates based on how much you've made so far each quarter on time. And the other thing I wanted to mention that is often confusing, and I'm not really sure what the point of this is, but the quarterly estimated payments are, you'd think, due every 3 months. However, that's not the case. The first one's due April 15th. That makes sense. The second one's due June 15th. So 2 months later, your second quarter payment's due. Third quarter's due 3 months later, September 15th. And then you have 4 months to make the fourth quarter payment, which is due January 15th of the following year. Although a lot of people do elect to make that payment in December just to keep all the payments in one tax year. It's not required that you do it that way, but it can make your bookkeeping a little bit cleaner. So anyway, this is just my encouragement to you to pay your quarterly estimates. If you have me prepare your tax return, I usually provide estimates based on what you owed this year. So if you expect your income to be similar, you can use those estimates that are a part of this year's tax return package. If your income fluctuates, or if you are newly self-employed and are going to have income this year that doesn't have taxes withheld from it, we can always meet mid-year and do projections based on your income and expenses so far and get an idea of what you should be paying in quarterly. Even if you're not ready to pull the trigger and send the money to the IRS, at least be setting it aside in a savings account so that you don't feel like it's money that you have earned and can spend, because that will get you in trouble. And you want a clear picture of how your business is doing so that you can decide whether maybe you need to be charging more money in order to cover the taxes, because that is a huge expense that people who are self-employed have in addition to all the regular overhead of running a business. So anyway, this is just my encouragement to you to pay your estimated tax payments. A reminder that first quarter payments are due April 15th. And if you have any questions or would like to do any projections, I do offer that as a service. You can book an advisory session and we can talk about what you should be paying in quarterly.